Hi there, Joka here, and in this video I'm sharing my cards with the Spellbinders August Small Die Kit. Here's the kit. There's a few parts of it. I don't know what to call them, kind of hexagon shapes, I guess. These dots you can use for the large shape. There's as a kind of like a decorative connective piece, because you can actually connect these shapes, but I did not do that. And this is the color scheme I'm going with. And this shape inspired me. This is a small shape, and I think it's like a connective shape. If you place the large hexagons next to each other several times, these fit in between them, but I did not use them that way. So what I'm doing here is that I die cut this one little piece from many different color cardstock, and I kind of variegated the colors, so I have all kinds of different shapes, not shapes, colors here. So I know this is not everybody's thing. I know that a lot of you don't like to spend this much time on a card, but I love building backgrounds and creating different patterns. So I just love playing with that. And this is actually the reason why you saw me create all those little shapes, like separate ones. You could obviously build this on your panel to save time, or on your card base, basically. But I like to create the shapes separately so I can play around with the pattern and see what I like. Now I set those apart, aside, and now I'm creating my second card because I did want to use this large shape as well. And again, I'm using the same color scheme. I'm going with purples, pinks, and oranges. So yeah, I die cut the this large sorry, I don't know what to call it really, from a dark, kind of like an eggplant or aubergine color. And I will, if you can see, there's these two rectangles in between, and those I'm also going to fill in with some colors. And also I wanted to add some dimension, so I just die cut this same shape from a heavyweight white cardstock. I mean, you could do layers of the same eggplant color, but I don't mind the white. I don't know, I kind of like that contrast, or I don't know how to call it. And now I'm just looking for another kind of purple to add another pop of color around the lavender. And I found this cardstock. This is metallic cardstock, but the color I really liked. By the way, all the textured cardstock that you see me use is from Basil. Some of them have different textures, but they are all from Basil. And the other that are non-textured, because I do use some non-textured cardstock here as well, they are not this Spellbinders cardstock. I only use those on the large die kit cards this month. For these cards, I wanted to go with a warmer color scheme. And you know, purple in the Spellbinders cardstock, the purple is kind of like a cold hue, and I just prefer these kind of purples, this aubergine and lavender kind of tones. So I wanted to go with that on these cards. And this is actually one of my most favorite color combos that I use quite often. So yeah, it's been, I think the first time I saw this combo was in my, well, I was like 13 when I bought a tie-dye shirt for my brother-in-law who really hated it, so I could keep it myself. And that was these kind of colors. I guess it was a bit out there for a man and 30 years ago. But yeah, I loved it. So anyway, and as you can see, I added some colorful dots on that large hexagon shape. And now I'm just adding 2 clusters of flowers, and I'm using for these the the lightest cardstock that is in the hexagon shape. If you can see, the top one is like a peachy color and the bottom is a lighter pink. So those are the ones that I'm using for the flowers, and then I'm just adding white leaves and I would say greenery, but you know, they are white. So yeah, and then I'm going to add a sentiment, and then again I'm using one of those foiled sentiments that I have hundreds of, and they are always great to have. So you know, I don't have to think about sentiments. I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of you create cards differently. A lot of you don't even add sentiments until you sand it, but I honestly 90% of my cards I don't send anywhere because I just simply don't have anybody to send them to. Plus I'm really bad with it as well. You know, I don't like writing cards and then mailing them out. I would totally be happy to give them to people in person, but mailing them out is a different story. And as you can see, I did not put that in the middle because I did not want to cover up the colorful dots on both sides. So I moved that sentiment a bit down. And now I'm finishing this up by adding some enamel dots also in matching colors, and then just fluffing up the flowers a little bit for dimension. And I'm back at my first idea, and because yeah, I mean, normally I am eyeballing things, but in this case I figured it was quite important to center the first shape at least, because I chose as many shapes that I don't know if you saw it, I placed that white panel next to the shape so I could see how many will fit there. So I wanted to start in the middle to make sure that I have the you know, the number of colors that I plan with. So the number of pinks, the number of oranges and purples, which is 3 of each actually. And then for the top right corner and the bottom left corner, I will need an additional color to fill up a little bit of space. And then at some point I realized that it's easier to glue up 2 at the same time and kind of push them into place, because I don't know, it was just easier to line them up that way. So that's why you see me do 2 at a time. And I'm saving every little piece that I'm cutting off here, thinking that maybe I will use them for something else, because obviously here at this point I did not know how many of these shapes I will have left. So you know, I only ever throw things away at the very end once I know that I'm not going to be able to use them. Okay, so my pattern is kind of coming together. Yeah, and then in the meantime, every now and then I'm trimming it off, because I know that if I don't and I have the full panel covered, then I know that I just can't trim it off properly, at least not with scissors, but in the end I will decide to trim off the edges just a little bit with a proper trimmer. I don't know, I mean, it was not crooked or anything, but it was not perfect, you know. All right, so as you can see, I still have quite a lot of those diamond shapes left, so I'm just going to create another card with it. So here I'm just going around and trim off just a little bit, just so that everything is straight and nice. I was a bit afraid of doing this because this is several layers of heavyweight cardstock, and sometimes my trimmer is not so happy about that. So here I am embossing a sentiment. This stamp set is actually from the previous month, I think, so the July clear stamp kit. I really hope I'm not messing that up, but I really think it was July. And I'm using gold embossing powder. This one is my favorite embossing powder. It's from Wow, and it's called Gold Rich Pale, I think, here. Yeah, metallic gold rich pale. And I am now using up some of the shapes that I have left, and as you can see, some of these are the just parts of the shapes that I had left, and I will trim off some of the other ones as well, just so that they are the same size, and I will start adding them at the bottom. And this one I'm just going with a simple pattern, and also this is much quicker because I'm not covering the whole background. So, you know, if you don't want to go nuts like I did on the previous card, then with this one you still have just, you know, a fun colorful pattern, but it's much quicker and easier to do. So yeah, I'm covering it up to, well, like the 2/3 or so of this panel. And then I was thinking about adding some maybe at the top, but then, you know, the embossing was too close to the top. I didn't like just those little pieces there, so I'm just leaving it as it is. Okay, so I already created the card base, and I'm just adding the panel on top of it. And then this will be my third card, and I still have to finish 2 of these cards because I don't know how you do it. Do you go from like, you start a card and then you finish it and then you move on to the next? I always work in parallel, kind of like, I don't know, I'm going back and forth between cards. So I'm finishing this one first, actually, and I'm adding a few enamel dots in 3 clusters and matching colors, and that one is done. And now I'm coming back to the first card, and I will add the this pattern panel with a foam sheet just for some more dimension there. And because I kind of feel like I need flowers again, and especially white flowers, I'll just add like a row of flowers, kind of randomly shaped in a way that some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller, but there's no rhyme or reason. They are not symmetrical or anything. And then to the left, I will add some leaves. And I believe I had to edit out the whole gluing down process here because my head was in the way. So I apologize for that. And then a few enamel dots in matching colors and a sentiment, and then this is done. But this one here I wanted to show you because these are pieces that I had left from the first project, and I think they look so awesome. I did not do anything with them, but I think they would be so cute for like a note card. I'm showing you the size there, but I actually don't see it because I have something over them. But I think it was like 4 by 2.5 inches. So you can totally use up scraps. Okay, so here are my 3 cards. I really like how they turned out, but I think that's mainly because of the colors. But yeah, I hope I could give you some ideas to use your dies in multiple ways. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.